Up next, she makes 6 figures and is still struggling. Women say they are going broke.
I am a 6-figure earner, and this inflation is kicking my butt. None of my normal expenses, like my house, my car, those payments have not changed. However, the grocery bills, the electricity, the things that like were very small that were on auto pay can no longer be that. And I'm at a point where I had to have a conversation with ChatGPT about what would be the effects if I stopped paying 2 of my largest debt payments that I'm making. And you know what ChatGPT said?
What?
Do it, let it go to collections, pick it back up when they offer you a good settlement amount and pay it off. And by 2027, you'll be back at a 700 credit score. And you know what? I'm going to opt for that because there is no reason that I make well over $120,000 a year that I am in the position that I'm in, where after I've paid all of my basic necessity bills, I have nothing left over. And when I say I don't have anything of extraordinary value, I live in a normal size home, okay? Nothing fancy. I drive a Kia. I don't have anything that's luxury. I don't have anything that's excessive that I'm spending on. I'm literally just spending normal amounts of money. The fact that my grocery bill, I went back because I ordered my groceries from Walmart. I went back from my grocery orders back then until now. My grocery bill has damn near tripled. And I'm just at a point where like, it's not even worth the stress. So you know what? We're going to eliminate the payments of the debt. I'll pay my credit cards. But there's a few loans that I just have decided I'm not paying that shit. I don't have it in me. Like I cannot do it any longer. And I refuse to work paycheck to paycheck to come home and have nothing after I've worked like a dog all week. I'm not doing it. I just refuse to do it. And I don't know. I've seen a lot of like other millennials on here like feeling that way. And I agree. I can't do it. I can't do not another pay cycle will go by where I am feeling the way that I feel right now. No, I refuse to do it. And I'm not spending all of my savings. I'm not doing that shit. They can forget it.
I don't think that that's smart, and I hope she prompts ChatGPT to be a financial advisor before she decide to ask it that. I'm curious as to how much that is a month. So 120,000, well over 120,000. What is that, like 10 grand a month? So you mean to tell me that you're making 10 grand a month and you can't afford food? Like that don't even like, and your house is normal, your car is normal, everything is normal, but the difference between your food expense is so excessive that it's gobbling up most of the 10 grand a month that you make, give or take, you know, for taxes and insurance. Sounds like you have a financial literacy issue and you need to budget better.
Everyone in their 30s is struggling so bad. Why are the millennials having such a hard time in life? I was talking to my mom earlier today and I just had a thought. I was just like, dang, why is everybody my age having such a hard time in life? And don't get me wrong, they're not like down bad, but they're not like up good or up doing well. Everyone just seems like their life is really hard. Like it's not nowhere on the same page as the life that they wanted for themselves. And it's like, is that not discouraging? To look around you and your friends and family and realize that they all on a deep level seem extremely unhappy. But what does that even mean? What does that mean for us? What does that mean for me? Like, what does it mean? Like, is that it? Is this all there is? Or is it just us? This can't be the only life that's an option. And I just realized talking to my mom, like, I was like, that just can't be me. That just can't be my life. I just cannot accept the worst of the worst. I cannot succumb to the lifestyle of those around me. And that's why I've always kind of felt different. Just because I refuse to let unhappiness be my legacy. I can't live like that. There's no way we just accept the cards we're dealt and we don't fight tooth and nail with blood, sweat, and tears and our fingers peeling to have a better life. I just can't accept that. I just can't accept that that's the only option that we have.
Well, like you just said it, the option is to fight blood, sweat, and tears, because the reason why their lives are like that is because it's the culmination of all of their life's decisions. So if you choose and decide to prepare for your future and live a better life, then you shall. But if you choose to decide to just sit back and let life happen and enjoy life while you can, all through your 20s, then this is what's waiting on you.
Making six figures and still broke. I come from a family that didn't have much. We looked like we had it, but we didn't really have it. When you grow up like that, the plan to make it out is always the same. Go to school, get the degree, become a doctor or a lawyer, land the six-figure job, right? Well, I never became a doctor. I didn't even finish my degree, but I still landed multiple six-figure roles. When that first offer came in, I thought, oh my God, this is it, $155,000. Then another company offered me $185,000, and I really thought I made it at that point. But the whole time I was miserable. I was making the most money I ever made, but was still broke. I had about $23 in my checking account. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was watching everybody else buy homes, start families, travel the world. And I remember thinking I did everything right. Why the fuck do I feel stuck? But that's when I realized traditional advice does not work. You cannot budget your way to freedom if your mindset is still in survival mode. I stopped trying to just earn more and I started learning how money actually works. Shit got crazy after that. I bought my first home for $140K. I just listed it for $360K. I built an $85K stock portfolio and I also have 2 other investment properties. And the best part? Peace. Real peace. How you do money is how you do everything. If you are serious about healing your relationship with money, I want you to start to understand your money archetype. This is the blueprint for why you spend the way you do. Maybe you're in feast or famine mode. Click the link in my bio. It is absolutely free. Take the quiz.
I respect and commend anyone preaching financial literacy, because that is alone one of the biggest generational curses on Black people, especially because a lot of us come from our mama who buys everything on a whim. If you look at the demographic of people who spends the most, the biggest consumer, it would be women. And if they are the biggest consumer, reason would say they would be the least likely to give you great financial advice, because they don't practice that. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Sue me.
41 years old. I went to school for 8 years and paid back 80 grand in student loans to become a physical therapist with a doctoral degree. I've been making 6 figures for 12 years now. Long time, whole boatload of money. I am broke. Our mortgage, we're lucky enough to own a home. Our mortgage is not an overtly huge percentage of our income. We're not big spenders. We don't even spend on vacations, because another piece of privilege is I married into a family that actually has a vacation home on a beach or near a beach.
Nice.
It's very nice. We don't pay to stay there. We're not big spenders. We drive 2 used cars. And the cost of living has nearly forced us to sell our house and move in with my mother-in-law, I guess. I don't know. I didn't go to school for as long as I did and pay back 80 grand in student loans.
I'm just not understanding where the money is going. Like, your cost of living would be how much your mortgage is, how much your electric bill is, how much money you spending on food, your car note, you have a used car, car insurance. Like, you're saying that you live this minimalist lifestyle and you make well over 6 figures. So if we just did a cost evaluation, the money has to be going somewhere. I don't understand this, but I'm gonna let him keep going. It just weirds me out.
So that I could be broke. This economy is horseshit. It's absolute horseshit. Every day I wake up, I seethe with anger.
Okay.
I seethe with anger. And I work in home health and I drive through the countryside and I see gorgeous, 3, 4, 5,000 square foot houses. They're being built brand new, and they're being built by boomers. Yeah. Because nobody who's 41 years old right now has $500,000, 750 grand, to spend on a brand new house. The average American household income is like 75 grand. the average American income for a household needed to buy a house is around 125 grand. It's insanity.
Let's do a little bit of fact checking. Hey, guy in the chair, you there?
Yep, I'm right here. Just let me know what else you need.
Can you tell me the average American income?
So as of 2024, the median household income in the US was about $83,700.
Can you tell me the average white American income?
Sure. As of 2024, the median household income for white Americans was about $83,730.
Is that the same average as American income?
Pretty much, yes. The average for white Americans is very close to the overall national median.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. So can you tell me the average cost for a home in America? But let's exclude California, New York, and Florida.
Sure. Without those high-cost states like California, New York, and Florida, the median home price generally drops to somewhere around the $250,000 to $275,000 range. So it's a noticeable drop.
What would be the needed income to afford the average home outside of those high-income states?
So if we're talking about a home around that $250,000 to $275,000 range, you typically want an annual household income of roughly $70,000 to $80,000 to afford it comfortably, assuming a standard mortgage scenario.
So just based off of what this guy is saying, and I know I kind of skewed the numbers because I wanted to make it more realistic, he's just fear-mongering and he's full of shit. He's not even explaining as to where his income is going, but is making this claim that he lives a meager life. It's just a bunch of bullshit. This is, it frustrates me.
Happened to our generation that we haven't grown up? Why are we stuck in this weird purgatory? There has to be a deep-rooted reason why our generation especially are so nostalgic. Like, we have a millennial ache inside of us. It's just about millennials thinking that they look younger than they are. So many of us feel that we're not actually grown-ups, and I'm not joking. Like, I genuinely do not know how I am this age because I haven't ever fully grown up. I've just accidentally gained positions of responsibility. People perceive me to be a grown-up. I'm now raising children and I don't know that I'm qualified for that, and I joke about it all the time, but I don't know where the stopcock is. I couldn't repair a bike puncture. I don't have a pension plan. Maybe I'm in denial or I'm delusional, but if someone comes to read the meter, I don't know where the meter is. I'm always looking for the nearest responsible adult. I'm not the decision maker. I'm not a grown-up, because we grew up straddling the analog and the digital worlds. Like, we grew up before technology really blew up. I remember when we got our first family computer and we got the internet. It was dial-up and we had chat rooms, but we didn't have social media. Now everything has just been touched and ruined by technology. And our generation, I fondly recall my childhood so much, and I say that I had the best childhood ever. But then why am I doing such a different job now raising my children? Why have I changed so much? And I'm genuinely frightened that my children have grown up only knowing a world that is so touched by, I know the irony of it, that I'm talking on a social media app right now on a smartphone, but I feel frightened of the future and of AI, the way that the world is going. My children have only ever known that, and I want to take me and my children back to the safe place. Why do so many of us feel like this?
Because you have rejected traditionalism and you have adopted a modern mindset. And so with a modern mindset comes new and innovative ideas that is sometimes scary.
6 figures last year as a content creator, and this year it's been crickets, and it's a really humbling experience. And I really strive to be really transparent. I always have, even with my PCOS baddie content, even in my pursuit of music, all the things that I talk about, but especially with the PCOS baddie stuff, I'm shaving my full beard, I'm showing my apron belly, I'm doing the highs and the lows. I always strive to do that. So I wanted to be honest, because a lot of my content where I talk about how much money I've made as a content creator always goes viral because it's really empowering, it's inspiring, and trust me, it is for me. When I see other people, I'm like, dang, like we can make money off of being creative and being ourselves and showing up and being a platform for brands to share their amazing products or their services or whatever. And it's been really, really rough. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm really scared. It's really uncertain right now. It feels really dark. I feel shaken to my core.
She got a beard though?
I've pitched myself relentlessly to brands. I have been applying to jobs and positions that have to do with influencer marketing because I'm really good at that. I'm a really good social media strategist. I've worked with plenty of brands on the brand side and on the creator side. I work in the music industry at record studios, recording studios, labels, and all kinds of different things. Like I have experience in so much, and it's like getting brand deals is hard right now. Getting a job is hard right now. Getting people to buy merch that I've created for the PCOS Body Club, a brand that I've created. I've done all the things that you're supposed to do, not rely on brand deals, create a brand. So I create a brand. But I think, what it really boils down to is this economy that we're currently in. Everyone is struggling. And, people that would be able to splurge on a hoodie, which my hoodies are not that expensive. I think I don't have anything more expensive than like 40 something bucks, like in my entire store. Because I get it, like, I don't make as much profit, but I would rather have my brand get out there, and whatever. Like, everyone's just doing what they need to do. And right now, I feel like this economy is not allowing people to splurge on themselves, to do anything that's outside of their necessities. Some people can't even meet their necessities. So this is, definitely like an eye-opening, just very bleak time in history. I feel like it's not just me. I've seen so many of my creative friends go through the same thing right now. So many people are just struggling. And, it can be really hard to see other creators and other stuff go on brand trips and get paid huge amount of money. And, it's really hard to not compare yourself and compare
it's competitive,
to theirs. Could be really discouraging, but I share the highs and the lows, and there's really no purpose to this video other than to tell you that your girl is struggling. I'm likely not the only one, and I know I'm not, but it's just really hard right now for creatives, for just people in general, and I really don't know what the future holds for me, like literally whatsoever. I'm applied out. I've applied. I've submitted. I've done everything. All
working.
that I have left in me is to pray and hope that, God got something that he's working on, up his sleeve. God works, and you don't know what he's doing. And I hope that whenever I find out what he's doing, I'm like, oh, okay, God, I see you. I'm trying to be optimistic and I'm trying to be positive. But it is really hard because these moments can be very dark, and it's really hard to be positive when you don't know where your money's going to come from, when you don't know anything. And I think that some people get so stuck on being like, well, I've already made it. Like, I already made 6 figures last year. I could be like ashamed of coming on here and being like, I've made 6 figures last year. I don't want people to know that I'm like failing, but that wouldn't be real, and it wouldn't even be my brand. Like, that's not what I do. Like, I've always been so honest and transparent with almost anything that I go through that I decide to share online, because I think it's important to show people the real and not some illusion version of yourself.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're going through it, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for us. I'm rooting for all of us. And I hope that, soon there will be breakthrough for all of us.
I just got one question for her. You shaved your beard? Like, you got a beard? Like, what the fuck? Like an actual beard? I'll say this though. I do encourage people, especially when they've made a boatload of money, in any capacity, to find a way to park that money into a vehicle like real estate or a performance stock portfolio or even crypto. That way, your money is making money. But a lot of times what happens is that people will make that amount of money and they would expand their lifestyle instead of maintaining what it was and then investing properly.
Y'all stay with me on this one. So the baby boomers and the Gen X's, our parents and grandparents, are always saying this generation's so lazy. They don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. Why would we? Because look at what the system has done us. We're burnt out. Gen Zs don't want to work because they see how burnt out the millennials are, because they can't get ahead in today's world. Okay? Y'all come from a society where you worked, you could afford a house, you could afford a family, you could take your family on vacation, you had a nice car, and you worked 40 hours a week, off every weekend. Now what's even crazier to me is you got people that are making $100,000, $120,000, $150,000 a year that can't afford a house, because houses are $100,000 houses now $400,000. They can't even get approved for it. Then you got kids that the Gen X is pushing college. So these kids go to college, then they get out of college. For one, if they can even find work, they find work, it's a good paying job, but now student loans eating up their paycheck. So what's the sense? If we can't get ahead in life, no wonder nobody wants to work. No wonder Gen Z don't want to work. They're burnt out. Millennials are burnt out. It's a failing system that has failed us miserably. That's the difference between the baby boomers and Gen X and millennials and Gen Z.
I understand what he's saying. Number one, you're not going to get ahead working. Those days are long gone. And the reason why is because the labor market has doubled. The times that he's specifically mentioning is when women were still in the home and men were out working. So wages were higher because there were less people in the job market. Now you have women competing for the best jobs, the most cushy jobs in the job market, and they're using legislation and movements like DEI to get a leg up. That's why.
Just isn't enough money anymore. Me and my husband are both in our 30s. We make the most money we've ever made before, and we still struggled between every single paycheck. We spent hours every single Friday when we would get paid trying to figure out what we could cut back, trying to budget every penny we had so that we would make it to the next paycheck. The grocery store's too expensive. Vehicles are too expensive. Vacations are too expensive. Houses are too expensive. 2 incomes is just not enough anymore in today's world. I have a college degree in physical therapy, and when I got good grades and went to college and did all the right things, it was supposed to solve all those financial problems. That's what everybody told me. It was going to solve all my problems. Well, it didn't, and they lied. And I was sick of struggling between every single paycheck when I was working my ass off, treating more patients than I should be treating. I was overworked, underpaid, and I was sick of it. So I learned a different way to make money. I learned how to make money online. I learned how to use my social media to sell and promote digital products so that I could create another stream of income. I wanted to be able to be home more with my kids, and I wanted to be the mom that could go pick my kids up from school and not have to pay for after school care and do all the things. But I couldn't be home and not have a full-time income. Could not do it. But learning how to make money online and creating an income stream that I have created and make money while I still treat patients part-time, but I am able to work part-time now, and I don't pay for after school care. I pick my kids up from school every single day. I drop them off at school every single day, all because I created an income stream from my cell phone. If you're ready to join all the other moms that have learned how to monetize their social media and learn how to...
I find it interesting that women fight so hard to get into the workforce, and then they fight like hell to get out of the workforce and complain about it. It's like you had it the way that you wanted it. You're now in the workforce and you have to compete in the job market and you don't like it. It's amazing to me. The same women.
Why are millennials and Gen Z struggling today? It is the effing housing prices and rent prices. This is the problem that needs to be solved. In 1980, the house was $47,000. To qualify was $18,000 in income, and the median household income was $21,000, and that makes sense. Or you could rent for 14%. Let's rapid fire through these years to get to today. 1990 was $78K, $21K to qualify, $38K median household income, 17% to rent. 2000, $105, $28,000 to qualify, $49,000 median household income, 16%. Now 2010, $180,000. $30,000 to qualify, $50,000 median household income. 2019, $260,000 for the house, $40K to qualify, and $68,000 was the median household income. Yet it was still 25% to rent. But let's look at today. Today is $430,000 for the home. What do you need to qualify? $110,000, and the median household income is $81,000. What? And this 110, by the way, is with 0 college loans, car payments, or credit cards, and a 20% down payment, which most people don't have 80 grand laying around. They're most likely going to put 3% down, and you need about $150,000. And guess what the rent is if you can't afford this, which most can't? 30%. For the median household. But yet the single person who's not looking to buy a house right now, who's renting, they're spending 40%.
What he's not accounting for is the inflation. So there was a lot of money that was printed during COVID, and so it inflated the housing market as well. And right now, because of the inflated housing market in 2025, you're starting to see it cool off, where because houses aren't being sold, the cost of houses are forced to go down to meet the market where it is. The other thing is that the labor market, like I mentioned before, doubled. So if you include all of those things into account, you would not be so befuddled as to why cost of living is so high and there's a housing crisis.
You want to know why millennials are so pissed off? It's because we were lied to. You told us if we put our head down, we did what was expected of us, we were yes men, we would be rewarded by our companies. And to be fair, I do work for a good company. I'm not trying to bash them. But we just had our end of the fiscal year town hall meeting in which I found out I got a 4% raise, and I should be happy because some people might not get any raise at all depending on their situation.
I'll get fired.
Except I also got a notice today that my rent is increasing by 12%. Do you see how that doesn't add up well? 4% increase over a 12% increase, and that is just one bill. That is just rent. That is not food, gas, anything else.
Sounds like you need a man. Because if you had a man, then you wouldn't have to tackle that increase by yourself. It'll either cut it in half or eliminate it altogether if you had a man.
Everybody shut the fuck up. Hey, shut the fuck up. Let me tell you something right now.
If you made it this far, woman on TikTok says there's no way she let her kids starve over food stamps and SNAP. Feed your own damn kids.